Welcome back. Thanks so much for staying with us tonight. Involuntary manslaughter is a criminal charge that's been in the news almost every day since last week. That's when prosecutors in New Mexico announced charges against actor Alec Baldwin in the deadly shooting of a cinematographer on the set of the movie Rust. That was a huge story, continues to make headlines. Tonight we are joined live by the University of Mississippi Distinguished Professor of Law. We want to welcome Ron Rychlak to our news at 9 o'clock tonight. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
So just to kind of start out talking on this topic of involuntary manslaughter, what kind of allegations really constitute this charge, and what does law in Mississippi specifically require for this charge to be brought up?
Well, you know, as the name implies, it's involuntary. It's an unintentional killing, but it's with extreme recklessness. It's beyond negligence. There's a risk of which the person was aware, and they nevertheless took that risk, and it led to someone's death.
And obviously we've seen front and center Alec Baldwin's case within the last week or so. As he was brought this charge, what is another example of a case with similar allegations to the Alec Baldwin case? And maybe how did a similar case come to an end?
Well, I think a lot of people might remember a case from Minnesota last year where a policewoman was chasing someone who was running away, and she accidentally, I guess, pulled her gun instead of her taser, shot the man and killed him. She was charged with involuntary manslaughter. It was not intentional. She meant to tase, but she grabbed her gun. When you're handling a gun, when you're having a very dangerous instrumentality like that can take someone's life, you have to be extraordinarily careful. You have to be aware that there are risks associated with it. And if you're not careful, and if you cause someone's death, you'd stand the possibility of conviction. That's that police officer got. I believe she received 20 or so years in prison for the involuntary manslaughter.
And in the case, going back to Alec Baldwin's case, what are some potential defenses he could have? I mean, in his attorney's case, obviously, you know, we saw the videos of him and the images of him after that shooting, and you could tell he was just really distraught and emotional on the set of that movie. You know, just kind of a tough situation there. What could his defense possibly argue in this case?
Well, sure. I don't think anyone believes he did this intentionally. Really, his two basic arguments normally in a situation like this would be that you were unaware of the risk, but he's essentially admitted on television interviews that he knew there was a big risk in handling a gun, or that he didn't pull the trigger. He didn't do the dangerous action, although apparently the FBI lab has indicated that he did. He's sort of said it's the armorer's fault. The armorer, by the way, person in charge of the guns on the movie set, has also been charged. But Alec's in an unusual situation here where he's not only the actor, he's also the producer. So he's sort of in charge up the line and down the line. So if he says it's people who should have told me stuff, ultimately at the top of the line, he's the guy who should make sure that happens. So he may not have the normal defense that a regular mere actor would have.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, staying up with us and giving us some insight into what is going to be interesting to watch it play out in court and kind of see how this case unfolds. We thank you so much for your expertise on this, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.